Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another Torchwood review. And today's Torchwood review is none other than Adam. Well, it's kind of a double bill today. We're gonna do Adam, and then we're gonna do Madam I'm Adam. Yeah, I don't know why I made that sound provocative, but we'll get into the gist of the story. Essentially, Adam is a living parasite. He's a being from across the stars that the only way for him to live and transport matter of himself is to essentially lynch and drain his prey. However, his prey never quite realise he's doing this as he implements himself into every single section of their life, from the beginning to the end, to the current, to the medium. And by Adam doing this, he essentially begins to make the Torchwood team susceptible to his influence. For instance, he even tries to convince us, the audience, who has watched Torchwood since the very beginning, that Adam has been there through our whole lives. He pretty much tries to rage bait us, or what's the other word? That's it. He tries to guilt trip the audience in this episode into believing he's been there the whole time. So much so that essentially Adam even is trying to incorporate himself in this kind of love story that culminates through the whole episode between him and Tosh. However, there is one character throughout the whole thing who does not believe him because he doesn't remember him being there, and that is our beloved Yanto Jones. Yes, Yanto Jones tries to come to the rescue and warn the team at the beginning of this episode named Adam that something is not quite right. However, with everything that's going on at the time in this story, it's very, very hard for the team to see what's going on. So Adam, being the way he is, only has one option left. He must force Yanto into believing that he is nothing more than a raging psychopath who is a danger to the team and to himself. He also has to keep reminding the team that he is a part of their life by constantly torturing Owen Harper and a lot of other people in this story. However, when Jack Harkness comes back to the base one night and finds Yanto going frantic and losing his marbles, he finds himself in a state of confusion and finally realizes that something's not quite right. He also begins to realize that something's not quite right when he realizes the way that Owen Harper has started to retrieve and retract himself into a kind of shell-like being. He no longer is this out-and-going loud person. Owen Harper has become a husk. Suddenly, Jack and the team manage to slowly but surely wipe Adam from their memory with a little piece of retcon. Adam, not being satisfied with this, begins to make one last clinging hope that he may be able to take over Jack's mind by going back into Jack's memories and retrieving Gray, this lost brother from the Beauchamp Peninsula, trying to use that and grasp it against Jack as one last dying hope that he was the kid playing out in the desert. Jack is left in this kind of mental state of where essentially he begins to feel guilt-tripped at the fact that if he had let this boy play, maybe Gray would still be alive, but Jack, knowing the reality of what really happened, knows that Adam is just manipulating him, and finally and once and for all locks Adam out of his mind once and for all and lets the parasite die. So, just based off of this TV episode. What do I give the TV episode score out of 10? It's very solid. I love it. You've guilt-tripped us from the very beginning. You're still guilt-tripping us through the whole story. And most importantly, I like the dynamic shift that begins to happen when the team begins to be split up as they slowly are being drained of their essence. And for that reason, I give the episode, Adam, a solid 8 out of 10. So now let's get into this second review. Madam, and I think we can guess where that saying's gonna go. This is a kind of prequel to the Adam story. It turns out that Torchwood, well, at least Jack's Torchwood, are not the first Torchwood Institute to be susceptible to Adam's devices. It turns out that Torchwood Soho has also come into contact with him, and during his time back in the day, Adam was a bit of a passerby, but after a while, suddenly he becomes the boyfriend of a very important man in Torchwood. That man then becomes susceptible to Adam and soon learns that Adam has been manipulating him in bed just so that he can take advantage of Torchwood and destroy it from the inside. This all comes at the rate that apparently Adam has been essentially fleeing some form of alien race. An alien race that he made a very bad gamble with, and he believes by being the parasite and eating into Torchwood, he will escape his inevitable fate. But unlucky for Adam, Torchwood Soho are very smart, and very soon manage to outwit him. Even the love he believed he had in Torchwood slowly dies, and soon Adam is left paralysed and locked away by this alternate species. A species we never truly properly see, but by the sounds of them, they're definitely not a species Adam should have tried to play over. So what do I give Madam I'm? Well, I absolutely love this story. I think it's a great prequel to Adam, and I feel like I really want to see more from Adam in different scenarios, whether it's Torchwood Soho, Torchwood, or maybe just people in general lives. I feel like the parasite idea would work in so many more volumes, and I can't lie, I also feel like a spin-off this might also work in is something like Class, because I feel like Class, the school students would be very susceptible to Adam, because the doctor's not around, and because they're not necessarily a top organisation, so to them it might take a while to pick up on his kind of play on cards. But overall, I give Madam I'm a solid 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next Torchwood review. Until then, goodbye, stay beautiful, and have an incredible night.